What's going on? Tyler Roicki here. We're back with another video behind the wheel, and this time I'm going to answer one of your questions. So if you have any questions, insights you want to hear from me as I'm driving somewhere, please ask your question below and I will take a look and potentially speak to it on a future video. And actually, I had a question for you. Have you ever been in a $200,000 SUV? Because today that's actually what I'm behind the wheel of here in my Cayenne Turbo S, which I'm very happy I didn't have to pay anywhere near that much for it. But back in 2014, this was the fastest, most powerful, most luxurious SUV that you could buy, and it opened up the way for other brands to add to that market in the offerings of all the crazy vehicles that you see on the road today. Anyway, I love cars, but we're not going to talk cars in this video. Instead, we're going to answer a question from VT247, Vacation Time 24/7. Thank you for commenting on the video. And what he asked was, I wouldn't mind owning rental property, but the idea of cashing out bonds, gold, and the long term has me hesitant. So I guess one question I have is, how does one overcome the fear of making such a large purchase? And once the rental purchase is made, say in another state, how does one find property managers who know the laws, find good tenants, and look out for good owners? And thank you for the comments on the car. Appreciate that, brother. But to answer your question about the property, and I know exactly what that's like. Actually, funny enough, the way I bought my first property that wasn't a fix or flip, that I was actually holding on to, was a house now I have as a rental. It actually started as a property that I lived in for 2 years, and then I moved on from that and rented it out. But the way I funded that was with profits from a stock investment I made. And so that funded for me what was a substantial down payment for that property. And this has been my first experience renting it out with tenants and property management. And while I could have self-managed, I decided, being that I was going to be several hours away from the property, that I didn't want to have anything potentially going on that I would need to ever get on the ground to take care of. So I opted to hire a property manager. And I can tell you exactly how I went about that process. But as far as how do you get over the hurdle of making that first investment, you just got to do it, man. If the numbers make sense, if the deal makes sense, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're selling a long-term investment and putting it into property, it's not like you're blowing the money on something wasteful. I mean, the way I looked at that is, hey, I'm taking money from one area that's been profitable, I'm putting it to use in another. And for me, timing wise, it worked out really well, because and I wouldn't expect the same thing necessarily to happen, because times are always different. But for me, it ended up being a phenomenal investment, because in that 2 years, that equity, which, I mean, it was like a $60,000 down payment, now there's over $100,000 in additional equity that's been gained on top of that, just with the value of the property, and it's cash flowing for me every single month very nicely. I got a low interest rate locked in. But regardless of rates, regardless of purchase price, you got to look at, does the deal make sense today? And if it makes sense, if it's going to make money, if it's going to put you in a strong position to have equity building, you just got to do it, man. You just got to go for it and give the money a chance to grow for you. And it's going to be secured in something like property. The investment I took it out, although it's something that was a great investment and I did well on the stock, I mean, it wasn't a tangible asset, not in the same sense of like a property where you can see that property, you can go into it, you know the location. You don't have that kind of control with a company that you're just an investor in as far as the stock goes. So that's what I'd say on that. You just got to take that step if you know the deal makes sense. And as far as putting the pieces together, even if it's an out-of-state property you're investing in, you just got to go and ask around and vet the property managers. So the way I found mine is I hopped on a Facebook group that had a ton of real estate professionals, and I asked these professionals, hey, which I'm a professional, fellow professionals, hey, what property manager should I speak with? Who should I know in the area who does property management for single family houses? And I asked that question, and I saw some names come up time and time again. Some people were advocating for themselves, but there was a name that came up, and I did some research. So what I did was I took a name that came up, and actually I took all the names that came up and did my own research, but this one I saw that seemed to stand out as far as their reviews. Highly rated. I could tell they weren't fake reviews, and they really seemed to know their stuff. So I got in contact with one of the owners, the main point of contact, and I had a conversation. And to me, I could tell they were really on their A game. I liked how they handled their operation. They had good reviews. They had people recommending them. And every property manager is probably going to have a few bad reviews from tenants. It is what it is. But you know, I was looking more so from the standpoint of people who own properties. What were they saying about them and their experience? And that's what I was going off of. And I hired someone, and I was super happy with what they charged. You know, you might pay 10 or 12% management fees. Mine charges less than that. So 8%, that's pretty competitive. But for a high quality service especially, you know, to me it made sense. In the property, the cash flow, it works, having that in place. But anything related to the tenants, so I actually let them find my tenants too, because I figured, hey, if I'm working with them and they're going to be managing, you know, I could go find my own tenant and save a little money in that sense. But, you know, I thought it made sense to just, you know what, if they're going to manage it, I'll give them the opportunity to find the tenant they're going to be managing. And you know, I kind of left it at that. So you know, they found the tenant, and they're managing the tenants. They're dealing with collecting rent and navigating repairs, anything the property needs. They have a team of people working on it. I do have to pay if the property needs something, but I don't have to coordinate everything or show up or be on the ground at any point for that. So you just really got to find the right property manager. If you do the same process I did to find them, then you should be very much on the right track, man. And you know, as far as, you know, the right management company should be looking out for you as the owner as well, because, you know, the way they make their money is if you do well. You know, if they're making a portion of the rents, they should want the property to be rented out consistently and to be maximizing, you know, the amount of dollars that are being collected in the process there. So I hope that gives some insights, and, you know, I hope that's something you can really take and apply to progress forward towards your goals of becoming a property owner. And, you know, kind of, I'll leave you guys all with one thing. I want to know, what questions do you have for me based on my experience in real estate? I have some experience investing. I've done fix and flips, wholesales, long-term investment. I'm going to build upon that in the future, but I also run a real estate sales team and organization that sells over 1,000 houses per year. I directly work with over 200 real estate professionals, many of which are top producers, and many of which I've coached and guided to get to a point where they were doing little to no production in the business, to now they're earning a substantial amount of money, putting food on the table for their families, and building something financially meaningful for the long term in real estate. So if you're in a situation out there where you're in the business, you're hungry, you're driven, especially if you want to be around a community of people like that who genuinely want to help you progress and grow, I'd love to connect and see what myself and my organization can bring to the table to help you put some more W's on the scoreboard, especially if you're competitive like me and you want to freaking win and take market share. I want to know what I can contribute to help you do that, because I operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You know, I believe if I'm aligned with the right people, helping the right people win and succeed, and that they're doing positive things with it, I believe that each of us can have a bigger slice of the pie as a result of that collective effort. So do this. If you haven't yet connected with me and you resonate with what the heck I just said, get on my calendar. You'll find a link in the description below to book a Zoom call with me. But even if you don't do that, you better drop me a question, because I want to know what I can share from my experience and insight to help you get to the next point in your life. But I'm pulling up to the gym. We just arrived, so I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Be good, be great, and let's freaking crush it in real estate. See you next time.